Good morning. Welcome to Unity. So I invite you to settle in and open up. This is a good time to be open and receptive to the living Spirit of truth, to God's living Spirit. And so we come into this community where our God is love, our race is human, and our faith is oneness. We come in with all the things going on in our lives. And so we bring all of that, all of them, all of it into this one presence and one power that is absolute goodness. So let's begin with a classic Unity affirmation. I am open and receptive to God's living Spirit. Say that. I am open and receptive to God's living Spirit. And so imagine opening, and then being receptive, kind of saying, come, living Spirit of God, come, Holy Spirit. Open and receptive to God's living Spirit. Open and receptive to that Spirit within. Open up to that Spirit within you. Open and receptive to that Spirit that is all around you, that is the source, that is the ground of being, that is beyond everything. Open to it. Open and receptive to that living Spirit of truth within other people, within those that you know in your family and friends. And this morning, let us be open to that Spirit of God in the ones that are strange, the ones that we don't know, the ones that we don't understand. Open and receptive to God's living Spirit in all of us. We come together. We come together with all people everywhere, all of creation. We come together. I want to start this morning with what I consider to be one of the most important passages in all of the Bible. Because it talks about ultimate reality. It talks about where we are right here and right now. So this is from Paul's letter to the Romans, 8th chapter. So Romans 8:18. It said, if I consider all of the things this is paraphrased, a Nat version, okay? If I consider all of the sufferings, all of the disorder, all of the weird stuff going on at this time, that's nothing compared to how good it is going to be, to the glory that is going to be revealed to us. All of creation waits. All of creation is longing for the children of God to be revealed. Our creation has been subjected to these problems, not by its will, but by the will of God, because that's part of the unfolding plan. All of creation is subjected to this disorder. All of creation itself will be set free from its bondage to decay, its bondage to death and disease and disorder. All of that is going to end with the coming of the children of God. All of creation is groaning in the pain of giving birth. All of creation, all of us together, right now. Not only creation, but we ourselves. We groan inwardly as we grow. Why do I think that's so important? Because it gives an answer to why are things going wrong now? Because it's a process of growth, a process of unfoldment. What's going to happen? The entire universe is going to be transformed. Not just us individually in our own consciousness. Not just the shared consciousness of humanity, but all of creation, all of existence is going to be transformed. And we are in that process, and in some ways, humanity is in the forefront of that process. As we grow in expression of the Christ within us, become children of God. So, humanity's evolving. It has a little ways to go yet. Humanity is evolving from, let's call it defensive tribalism. Okay, there's a lot of words we can use to describe what's going on, but at the base of it is fear of the other, fear of difference, defensive tribalism, closing in on just who we are with people like ourselves and not having anything to do with the people out there, or demonizing them, or avoiding them, or oppressing them. Oneness is the answer. Love and oneness is the antidote to that. Love and oneness is the destination that we are pursuing in our growth, in the growth of the entire universe. So, we have to pay attention to it within ourselves. Scientists tell us that our bodies release hormones that prime us to trust and listen to the people that we know, that we trust and listen to the people that are our people, that look like us, that speak like us, that worship like us. And our bodies automatically, unconsciously prime us to be afraid of and disrespect people that look different, speak differently, worship differently. Now, there's a reason for that. It helped humanity survive. That is defensive tribalism. Because you couldn't trust the strangers way back in the days, you know. Humans had to bond together and be part of a group that would defend themselves and what they had against other humans that were trying to take it. Still happening in some ways. So that automatic response of fearing the stranger helped us survive. There's a phrase, there's a saying in the 12-step recovery communities that said, "What saved me yesterday is killing me today." What we may have done at one point in our lives to make things better, to survive, doesn't mean that we hold on to it forever. It could be interfering with us now. So what saved me yesterday could be killing me today. And that's true of this defensive tribalism. It's holding back all of humanity. It's holding back all of creation. It's time for something new. Now, with everything shut down the way it is, and with people talking about a new normal, it's time, perhaps, to birth a new world, to birth a new way of being, individually, in community, as nations, and as a culture, and as humanity. So we have an opportunity for a redo. To give up division, to give up oppression, tribalism, and racism. Now, saying, I'm going to give up tribalism, I'm going to give up racism, saying no to those things isn't enough, because we know in the power of our thinking that no doesn't have a lot of power when it's connected to a strong word. Like saying no to racism doesn't do much. It's not enough to be against something. What is powerful and creative is about being for something, affirming what it is that we want, being clear about the direction in which we're going to proceed. What we're for is love and oneness, growth and justice, unity. Unity. Boy, I wonder how many times that word was used this week in speeches, in the inauguration and in different speeches. That's about overcoming differences and resolving injustice. And in so doing, the entire universe is affected. So, this is the first Sunday in a series based on the book See No Stranger by Valerie Kaur. She's a civil rights activist, an attorney, a spiritual leader. She's a Sikh, or Sikh, some people call them. It's a religious group, it's a spiritual tradition from northwestern India. That's kind of like a blend of the yoga tradition with some influences from Islam. That's maybe 800 or 1,000 years old. 6 are the ones that have the big turbans, that don't cut their hair. So she became famous at a speech that she gave at a African-American church in Washington, D.C., early in 2017, right after President Trump was elected. And people were feeling nervous about that, disappointed about that in that particular congregation. They were feeling hopeless, that there was darkness ahead. And she said, yes, it's dark. What if this darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but it's the darkness of the womb? It's the darkness that comes in preparation for birth, for something new. That all of our ancestors are with us, guiding us, empowering us to grow, to give birth to something new. And she said, you know what the midwives say whenever you're giving birth? Breathe and push. So that's kind of a framework for this book that she wrote. It's not available in paperback. I don't know if it's a... It just came out in paperback. Fantastic. Okay, it might be available, and it's probably available on Kindle then too. Okay, but there's a link on our newsletter for a TED talk that she did, about an hour, that expanded out into this book. So you can get the basic ideas of the book from that TED talk, the link of which is on our newsletter. So, see no stranger. That's a phrase from her spiritual tradition, from the founder of Sikhism, called Guru Nanak. And the how-to that she has, the antidote that she has for all of the problems of the world, the direction in which the world is being born, she calls revolutionary love. Revolutionary love. That's a blend of mysticism and activism. That's like the warrior sage. That's like the fierce lover. So we might cringe a little bit when somebody says, love is the answer. It's like, yeah, love is the answer. We're not talking about the feeling. We're talking about action that comes out of that spiritual energy. Throughout history, social reformers have led nonviolent movements that were anchored in love. They gave themselves for others and ultimately for themselves. Valerie says, love is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving, a choice we make over and over again. Revolutionary love is the choice to enter into wonder and labor for others, for our opponents, and for ourselves in order to transform the world around us. That's 3 parts of this series. Revolutionary love for others, for our opponents, and for ourselves. We're going to start with others, strangers, the weird ones, the ones that we don't know, the ones that we dismiss or may not pay attention to. And the first step that she suggests in the process to opening up and being receptive to the transformative power of love is to wonder. Jesus said, unless you become like a child, you can't enter the kingdom of heaven. There's a certain attitude that you have to have, an attitude that's like a child, childlike, not childish, but childlike in wide-eyed wonder at what is, looking at something, a little insect, looking at the world, being open to the people, that radical, trusting openness that a child has. Wonder, curiosity, defenselessness, playfulness. That's the first step in making connections with strangers. Now, it's defensiveless, non-resistant, dangerous, revolutionary. It takes courage. That's where the fierce part comes in. Fierce love, courageous activity, rising from the connecting energy that is divine love. Now, it's easy to wonder about the people that we know. It's easy to be open and curious about people that are like us. It's a little different with the other, with different people. The call to love, this is how she puts it in her book. The call to love beyond our own flesh and blood is ancient, from the great spiritual teachers. Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, says, see no stranger. The Buddha, practice unending compassion. Abraham, open our tent to all. Jesus, love the neighbor. Muhammad, take in the orphan. Unity, I behold the Christ in you. They all expand the circle of who we are. They expand the circle of who counts as one of us. Some phrases you may have heard from around the world. From Hinduism, Tat Twam Asi, I am that. Whatever it is that I perceive, I am that. I'm one with that. African, Ubuntu, I am because you are. An identity. In Central American Indians, in Lakek, you are my other me. You are my other me. We're all inclusive. That's the consciousness of unconditional love, radical inclusivity. Wonder is where love begins. The failure to wonder, being closed to curiosity about somebody else, could be the beginning of violence. If we don't wonder about somebody else, we can't be empathetic with them. We can't have a sense of connection. And when there's no empathy, when there's no connection, we don't see them as part of ourselves. We may not see them as someone valuable. We can look throughout history and see so many disturbing, awful examples of dehumanization, of oppression. That comes from being closed to people that are different. So we wonder. We be open and receptive. How do we do that? Well, let's see. When we are allowed to travel again, would you have any interest in traveling outside the U.S.? Now, some places in the U.S. we can go to are very strange anyway. It's like a foreign trip. But let's say you want to go someplace where others live. Where might you go? Canada? Mexico? England? Maybe Western Europe. How about something that's a little stranger? How about Russia? Or Mongolia? Or North Korea? Or Sub-Saharan Africa? I'd be surprised if that's on any of our travel lists. That shows me something about myself, and that offers some information about ourselves. So, how might we be open to others? So maybe just by going someday down the road when we're allowed to eat out and go to restaurants again, you go to ethnic restaurants, besides not just Chinese or Italian or Mexican. Yeah, we go to those restaurants. How about Indian or Moroccan or Ethiopian? All of those restaurants are here in town. Does that sound interesting? Does that stimulate some curiosity? As we expand our experience with someone different, we expand our capacity to feel a connection with them. It creates an openness to oneness. Opens us to ourselves as well. There's a phrase that is used often in this book to the experience of wondering about another and connecting with a stranger. You are a part of me that I do not yet see. You are a part of me that I do not yet see. What might you get to know about yourself that you haven't yet seen? What part of you might you see that you don't know yet? So our connection with others deepens our connection with ourselves. And that deepening process connects us with the oneness of God, with the power of love, with pure being. So, Jesus advises us, don't judge each other. When you judge somebody, you close the door. You don't look at them. You relegate them to some outer limits. We do that a lot in a lot of ways because to protect ourselves, we can't leave ourselves wide open to everything that's going on. But we have to choose to be open. Okay? So, judging somebody, dismissing somebody, closes the door there. Communication advisors, coaches, say, one of the worst things that you can say in a conversation is, oh yeah, I know. I know that. That's a conversation killer. Okay? Oh, then I guess I don't have to talk if you know. Okay? If I say, yeah, I know, that means I don't need to hear anything else from you. I'm closing the door there. Okay? So, in this chapter on wonder, she suggests an interesting exercise. So as you move through the day and come across faces on the street or faces on the screen, in your mind, say, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, grandfather, grandmother. Wonder about them as a person. We retrain the mind to see more people, different kinds of people as being part of ourselves. St. Francis of Assisi started a movement, or picked up on, or at least heightened a movement that said, wonder about nature. See all of creation as being part of ourselves. Brother sun, sister moon. Animals, plants, rocks, stars are part of the oneness that we share. We can be open to that instead of being locked in to a particular attitude that creates separation, that heightens the ego and stops our growth. You are a part of me that I do not know yet. So we orient to the world with wonder. We notice each other with wonder. We are open to strangers with curiosity and interest. And we discover the oneness of infinite love and wisdom. So let's be open to a little time of discovery now in a time of meditation. There's an old hymn that we sing sometimes when we're allowed to sing again. Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Open my eyes. So we can begin by saying, Spirit, open my eyes. Let me see who I have closed off from me. Show me where my eyes are closed. I'm open. Show me, Spirit, where I have separated myself. Let go and allow yourself to be curious, to be interested in something different. Think about someone or something that is different, that is strange. So different that you don't understand them. So strange, you may not have considered them to be part of your life at all. And try this on. Hello, brother. Hello, sister. I see you, Auntie. Oh, uncle, grandmother, grandfather. Be curious about them. Be open and receptive. Imagine that they join you in the comfort of this quiet time of receptive prayer. And say to yourself, they show me a part of me that I do not yet see. What part of me am I ready to see? Let's say that. What part of me am I ready to see? I am open and receptive to God's living Spirit. Open and receptive in the silence. Open and receptive in the mystery of the oneness that we share. Open to see, to hear, to be. So we remain open and receptive as we bring our awareness back to here and now. We're open and receptive to deeper connections with each other. Open and receptive to being woven together in unity and love. Amen. Amen. So we've had a quiet time, a time of reflection. We've had a time of consideration, of hearing some ideas, of receptivity. In a moment, it's going to be time to move, take action in some way or another, to say some words to somebody, to think some thoughts, to take some steps, to give of our time and our talents and our treasure. So we bless all of our giving. We bless the gifts that we would give in support of unity. We would bless all that we would give in support of our family and friends and community. We bless all that we would give in support of the ongoing growth of all of creation. We bless that with these words. Divine love, flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am expectant, grateful, and at peace. And we extend that peace now to others. We extend that peace through the words of the prayer for protection for all of us. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace. Peace, peace, peace.